In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the split face tool on a curved surface. So let's hop over to Fusion and run through this. This is a question that I've been getting. Actually just got it recently on my split face tutorial that I posted. So I just wanted to run through it and see if it could help a few other people out. Let's start with something very simple here. I'm just going to sketch something with an interesting surface. Use a spline to create that surface. Just something a little wavy to demonstrate this point. Okay. And then we are going to extrude. And we'll pull this out a little ways. Okay, so we have this somewhat organic spline to create an unusual surface on the top of this part. So if we want to split this face, it's actually quite simple. We can go even just to the bottom, sketch right there. Let's say we want to split it right in the center. So we're going to add a line that's at the midpoint of each edge, finish the sketch, come up to our split face tool, click that. Of course, it asks you which face you want to split. We want to use this face, and then the splitting tool will be that line we just drew. And as you can see, it creates essentially a surface through that line that goes through the surface we are trying to split, or the face we are trying to split. Hit OK, and now you can see we have individual surfaces on this face. So a very simple way of splitting a complex face. And now I want to show a few other ways that this can be done and a few other scenarios where it can be very useful to use a split face on a curved surface, or a surface that's not just a flat plane. So let's get rid of all of these features, delete, and let's start from nothing. Let's try a sphere. We'll create this real quick. Click here. Doesn't really matter what size it is. Okay. So now we've got this sphere that we want to try out a split face operation on. How do we do that? Well, let's start with a sketch. Create a sketch. You can pick really any surface you want here, any face. And let's do something that looks a bit creative. Maybe we're trying to create a bouncy ball or something that has multiple surfaces with different colors. So we're going to go to spline and we will create a spline here. Not any specific geometry, but just something interesting. Okay. And let's see how this goes. So now we need to go back to our split face. We'll click the face of that entire sphere as our face to split. The splitting tool is going to be the spline. And here again, you can see it just essentially creates a surface using that spline. And wherever that surface goes through the face, in this case, the face of the sphere, that is where we're going to get a split. Hit OK, and voila, look at that. We've got a pretty interesting split face on this sphere. And let's have a little bit of fun with this. Let's add an appearance. We'll use the screen. We'll first make sure you're using the faces for what it should apply to. Pull that over. Okay. And then red on this one. Close, and look at that. So now we have what could be a bouncy ball or any sort of ball that you are trying to model. And it's got a pretty fun pattern on it by using this simple split face. Well, let's take it even one step further. So we've got this spline that we use to split it. What if we create another spline? So let's see, create a sketch. Let's do this at a different angle. Okay. This time we will change it up just a bit. Kind of come vertically through here. And okay, that's done. Finish sketch. And now we're going to come up to modify, split face. And now we need to pick which faces we want to split. Let's say we want to split both of these actually. So you can see there's two selected. Splitting tool will be this. And we get something that looks very similar to our last operation. Hit OK, and now we've got all sorts of faces on this surface. So let's add a few more appearances just to see how cool we can make this look. Ooh, let's download the yellow. And I guess we can do this white enamel glossy. Okay. Again, make sure the faces is selected. Pull the yellow over. And then this glossy white. And look at that. Now we've got 4 colors on here. And I don't know if this is a beach ball, a bouncy ball, whatever you want to call it, but we have something pretty cool here by using this simple split face tool and using some splines. Very quick, very easy. It may look complicated at first, but you'll see rather quickly that it is pretty simple. Okay, let's try one more situation where we can use this split face tool and arrive at some pretty cool and complicated looking geometry. So let's delete all of these and just start from scratch. Okay, those are gone. Now let's create another sketch. Get around to the front here. And I'm going to create a center construction line. Doesn't matter how long. Create a rectangle. Nope, we don't want that to be construction. Unselect that. Okay. And we're going to go back to the spline tool here. And once again, create a spline. And okay. There's that. Now we're going to go to solid and we are going to do a revolve. Profile we just created. Axis is this construction line. Okay, so we've created whatever this fun shape is, but it is a really good place to start and a way to demonstrate another helpful way to use the split face on a curved surface specifically. So we're starting with this. Let's go with another sketch. Click that plane. All right. Go to spline. And again, we're just, we're not doing anything specific here. We're just creating a spline to demonstrate how complicated this can be and how you can create a complicated looking part very quickly and easily. Okay. Finish the sketch. Again, come up here to split face. This is going to be the face we want to split. And this is the tool. Look at that. No surprises here. We are very used to how this works. Hit OK. And now we've split this face into even more complicated faces. And so we could do what we did before where we change the color of each face, which is pretty useful if you're going for a specific aesthetic. But what if you're actually trying to create 2 halves or 2 pieces that fit together with this very unique organic shape? Well, instead of doing a split face, we will delete that. Come up here and go to split body. And now we need to make sure we bring back that spline. For our body to split will be this main body. The splitting tool will be this spline. Again, looks very familiar. Hit OK, and now we have split the body. And how can we tell? Come over here to bodies, and you can see there are 2 of them. And we can hide the top one. And look at that. We've got this very organic split between the 2. So if there's some scenario where you want to print, maybe 3D print some sort of clamshell, but you don't want just a generic flat plane where the 2 pieces meet, you can use this tool to make a very fun, organic, interesting plane for these to be split and for them to then kind of clamshell back together. That is just one example. There are obviously a lot of different ways that you can use this tool. But I hope this was helpful. I hope this clears up how to use a split face on a curved surface. Again, I know that was a question that some people specifically had from my tutorial on the split face tool. So hopefully this clears all of that up. If you have any further questions or want to see anything else, please add a comment below this video. And if you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe and share it with other people who you think would enjoy it. All right, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for more tutorials coming out soon.